So after 15 years or so with Aaron Rodgers under center, the Packers were ushering in a new era of quarterback full of love. Jordan Love, per se. There were bits and pieces, though, with Jordan Love as a starter when he had to fill in for Aaron Rodgers at quarterback when Rodgers had COVID the last 2 years. But for Jordan Love, this was his first real season as the man. Now I'm not talking about Becky Lynch, the WWE superstar who now has an autobiography out in stores now. But nonetheless, I'm talking about Jordan Love, the quarterback, the new starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. This was his first full season as the new head honcho in town after Aaron Rodgers was traded away to the New York Jets. But last offseason, there was such a long delay in getting such, and the Packers didn't really have much of an active offseason. And also, they have limited money to spend. So, considering all that, questions still loom large on how the new starter in Green Bay would perform in what many expected to be the start of a rebuild on the youngest team in the NFL. So, looking at this past season for the Packers, it started off pretty rough. Well, yes, it was expected considering that this was Jordan Love's first full season as a starter. He really gave their fans some doubt. Love was pretty inconsistent in the first half of the year. He had some stretches where he showed his potential of being pretty good, but then there were times where in certain games where his turnovers cost him the game. Like, for example, against the Raiders, the Broncos. During those stretches during the season, he would throw some pretty bad interceptions, like literally heaving it towards defenses that would just cost them winnable games. Now, it wasn't all Jordan Love's fault because the receiving core struggled just as much to pretty much connect with Jordan Love, pretty much with catching, running the routes. And then when you get to the month of November, you're staring at a 3-6 mark. And it looked like a lost season for Green Bay, looking at a high draft pick and all that. And another part of their struggles was the middling defense. Under defensive coordinator Joe Barry, who's been there for quite some time now, but he's kind of been a problem over the last couple of years, despite all that talent that they had, all those draft picks that they acquired and spent on defense. Still a problem in 2023. And their biggest problem of all this past season was giving up a lot of first downs, stopping the run, and giving up a lot of yards to several rushers, even allowing a couple of 100-yard rushers this past season. So another red flag for this Packers defense was their passing defense, allowing a lot of avoidable extended drives. And that wasn't helped by the case of trading away one of their top corners in Rasul Douglas to the Buffalo Bills mid-season near the trade deadline. So that left a major big hole to the person opposite Jair Alexander, their top corner. So you're looking at 3-6, and the season looks lost for the Packers before that Thanksgiving game against the Detroit Lions, and of course the game prior against the LA Chargers. So if you're a Packers fan, you were kind of worried about the development of Jordan Love and the status of his team, looking at the possibility of a high draft pick in the NFL draft a couple months later down the line. So it was getting worrisome for them. But when you look at what went right for this team, it was pretty much the stretch later on. And that was mainly due to the fact that Jordan Love took a big leap after those games. So there's, like I said, they're sitting at 3-6, still struggling at home against the Chargers in that Week 11 game. And then I guess someone really lit a fire under Jordan Love's ass because he led a comeback against the LA Chargers, and then they started playing a whole lot better from there. They upset the Lions in that Thanksgiving game, and then they went on to play really good against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in that Sunday nighter. And then, yeah, they had a couple of speed bumps against the Giants and the Bucs, but then you saw Jordan Love throwing more efficiently and getting the offense a lot faster, more productive than before. And then when you look at the receiving core, being more in sync with Love more than ever, the likes of Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, Devontae Wicks, the tight ends, Tucker Kraft and others. And then also helping out balance out the offense was the return of their running back, Aaron Jones, during the stretch after he missed 6 games. So this Packers team, that late season stretch, they really made a lot of people like me eat some crow for doubting them. So yeah, they went on a stretch to win their last couple of games and get the last NFC wildcard spot at 9-8, and they certainly had an interesting season. They endured a lot of growing pains this past year, but hey, you got to give credit to them and their coach Matt LaFleur for rallying together and making an unexpected run to the playoffs, and where they even made even more noise when they got there, because that's the 7th seed. And where nobody even gave them a chance. I don't think I even gave them a chance either. But they took that really personal. They took that as personal motivation, because when they went to Dallas to face the Cowboys, from the very start, they absolutely massacred their ass. So they massacred the Cowboys in the wild card game, and then the next week they played pretty good against the 49ers, and they just came very close and then just couldn't close the deal. They made 3 costly mistakes against the 49ers, one of them including a missed kick by the rookie kicker Anders Carlson, and then the game interception from Jordan Love. So their season ended in heartbreak, but the future is very bright for this Packers team. They're young, they're hungry, and they may have found their answer at quarterback in Jordan Love if he continues to spread, like I said, that love through the air. And yeah, I think they do have a chance to compete next season, not just for a playoff spot, but maybe even for the division title once again. So looking at their offseason so far, they have around $12 million to spend. They do have the 25th overall pick in this upcoming NFL draft in about a month or so. Looking at some of the key free agents before the free agency period started a couple weeks back, some of the key free agents included, not too many, which is good, always good for them. Running back A.J. Dillon, corner Keyshawn Nixon, and then safety Darnell Savage, who did end up going to the Jaguars. So looking at the moves that they already made, they did sign Raiders running back Josh Jacobs. So a key piece to their offense and a key support to Jordan Love. They did also re-sign A.J. Dillon as well. So someone had to be a casualty, and that casualty ended up being Aaron Jones. So Aaron Jones ended up going to the Minnesota Vikings right away. So interesting choice there. They also managed to sign Giants safety Xavier McKinney, but they also released one of their top tackles from the Aaron Rodgers days, David Bakhtiari, who did struggle to get back healthy after that NFC title game a couple years ago, which kind of sucks though. They also released linebacker Devondre Campbell, who did sign with the 49ers, so you do kind of have a need at that spot now. So looking at some of the needs that they have to address in this offseason as it rolls on, they do have to address the defense tackle position, because their run defense, like I said, it was a major weakness this past season. So they actually do have a valid reason to go defense in this draft. So they got to shore up that interior defense and find a way to stop the run. And as I noted, in the secondary, it was pretty weak. After they traded away Rasul Douglas to the Bills, and they did replace Darnell Savage with Xavier McKinney, they could still use some more help. Maybe they can draft some players at some key positions like safety and corner to ease the load off of McKinney and Jair Alexander. Add some depth. And then you can bring in another kicker. They drafted Anders Carlson. He was a rookie, totally understandable. But man, did he really struggle in the moments that mattered the most. I mean, like I said, look no further than that game against the 49ers in the divisional playoffs with less than 5 minutes to go. Could have went up 7, forced my team to try and force overtime, tie the game, but he missed it wide left with that amount of time left. Those kinds of misses will, and it nearly could have cost teams the game. Actually, did cost them the game, and could cost kickers their jobs. And it could have cost Anders Carlson his job, but they're giving him another chance. So the Packers should consider bringing in another kicker to compete with Carlson during camp if he can't get it done, if he doesn't improve. So for the Packers, after a supposedly rebuilding season that took them to unexpected heights, took unexpected turns, they look more than ready to compete for the division and more once again this coming fall. But as long as they can address the defense further this offseason, and they got a new defensive coordinator, and they put it all to execution alongside the rising Jordan Love-led offense, and he continues to progress, then the Pack will continue to go once again, and they can be back with an even bigger bang this fall.